Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is around young people, mental breakdown and their mental stability. There was a tweet that caught our attention where somebody had said that the younger generation are having serious mental breakdowns. According to this tweeter, it says some are already deeply rooted in drugs, no morals at all, no vision, no goals. All they want to do is just get high, post for the gram, and expect money to fall from the sky. Many of them have entitlement personalities. And I would like to link that to a story of a young man who was recently arrested in Kpanti. He's actually been detained there. According to him, he and his mother had planned to use his sister for money. His mother actually approached the native doctor, who then asked him to sleep with her, and they did all the rituals, took her vital organs, and he was accosted on his way to dump her body in the river, where the police arrested him, and that's where he confessed and said that his mother had actually met the native doctor, and then they had this grand plan to kill his sister, which they did, obviously. But then it goes back to the real experiences of average Nigerian young people. Now, when I say young people, I don't want you to just look at those in your circle or people that you know, your sisters, your cousins. Look at this young man. I'm not sure they give his name. A 29-year-old internet fraudster, Amos Olaleye. If you have his picture in your mind and see other people like him, maybe from poorer families, they have no uncles, no aunties to lean on, no family members. They have no hope. They need to survive. They've gone to school the best they could, and they have nothing. And all they have is this kingpin in the neighborhood who sells drugs. Many of them feel that pressure to sell drugs and buy drugs, use drugs, and then they get options of Yahoo. You know, this is the Nigerian story that some of us don't like talking about because it's such a painful conversation to have. But today we need to bring it to the fore again. How do we help young people, especially in this regard? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Young people, as I said, there are few who are doing well. They're trying to do well. They will maybe learn a trade. They start hair making. They do dress making. They, sell a few things just to get by. It's hard for them too, but it's hard, but they get by. But I'm talking about those who don't even have any options. They've tried. They are broken. They are in a totally difficult mental state. How do we, as a community, government, personal, religious groups, how do we help or provide support for these kinds of people who are going through this kind of state? Let's go first. Guys,
I think it's very unfortunate that as a society we are constantly failing our young ones. The idea of a society is to uphold the values that we believe in, the beliefs, the morals that we think would serve us as a society, that we think would, take us far, make us better, make us a society that people want to emulate, people want to visit and see how things are done. But because everybody is selfishly considering what to eat and what to drink, how to show up things for themselves, how not for their children to suffer, we are it's like we are digging a hole daily by our actions, our words, how we perceive, how we treat people. A poor person in Nigeria is seen as a nobody. And so nobody wants to feel like a nobody. They would rather do whatever it takes to take them away from that poverty level, the desperation to be rich and the desperation to get everything so that we are treated better. Most of the times, just because we want to be treated better so that we can have a fair chance at life, a fair chance at eating as little as a piece of chicken on top of the rice, a fair chance as little as being able to afford malaria medicine, a fair chance. you know, has really driven us deep into. And if we don't do anything as a society, if we don't do anything as a government, this is going to get worse, because now we are raising children who are not even so afraid to look at their parents and tell them, this is what I want and this is how I'm going to live my life, and there's nothing you can do about it. During our time, we still had fear of launching into some things, because, you know, your mother will look at you and remind you of all the prayers she has prayed, how she has gone to church, how God has told her that you are a star, don't mess up your life. These days, most of our generation parents are not even either the church, we're not even so churchy anymore. Even the tradition, we're not holding on to anything, right? So it's worse for the younger generation now. And so as a society, we must decide, what do we want? Do we want to still go ahead with this, it's either I get rich or die trying attitude? Do we want to keep treating poor people like they are nothing? Or do we change it to begin to respect dignity in labor? So as we're saying, go to school, get a job, and somebody is your mechanic, for instance, or a carpenter, and you treat that person with respect. You give that person the dignity they desire, so that people who really want to do those jobs can do those jobs and be able to earn a living. Do we go that, or we just face, if you don't have, in fact, there are some places I go to, there's a car that I will carry. The respect level is different. There's another car that I will carry. The respect level is, like, you would see the massive difference. They won't even want to know who you are or ask you any questions. They will make a space where there's no space for you to just because of the quality of car. That is who we are as a nation. And so it would be unfair that we put all the responsibility. I know the young people have a responsibility to be, you know, better, but we must, as a society, help them so that they have a model to look towards.
All right. Let me come to you, because this conversation goes quite deep.
Yeah.
And I was going to give an example. Remember that I told you guys about a lady that I was in a group with, we're in a different group, and during the political season, she was totally vicious to me. She was very, very mean to me, and there was a service I needed, and she provided that service after politics had passed, you know. And I asked for her to provide that service for me. So I had the opportunity to meet her recently, just last week, you know, for the service and all that. And when I saw her, I wanted to put a face to this person that was giving so this venomous vitriol thing, this thing she was saying. And I could see that she was angry. She's an angry, I mean, I appreciated you're a Nigerian. I didn't engage her. But in my mind, I kept saying, this is an angry Nigerian. And I can understand her frustration. I can understand maybe where she's coming from, the background, and why she was so angry, and why she was demanding, or why she took the kind of position she took. So I couldn't hate, because I knew that this lady has been hurt by the system, bashed, bruised. So if she feels that you are somewhat on the side of people that are, you people that you're part of them, the hate was just so real. I could almost touch it from just seeing her. And I understood it. And I was able to have, I didn't engage, I didn't ask any questions. But all those thoughts came through my mind. Because that's what the average young person who just feels like, you have a little bit more than I do. You are better than me. And because of that, they hate you. And it cuts so deep, because no matter what you do, if we don't, as a nation, fix that, nobody, no matter what you have, nobody's safe anymore. But so what are your thoughts when young people are actually, they have no hope? A lot of people in this situation are totally hopeless and completely clueless on what to do.
Wow. So as you said, this is such a deep topic, and you can talk about it from different angles, because there's just so many factors. And for me, I think I'll just like to start from the family. We can talk about how the family is affecting it, parenting today, you know, the society, the church. And I would say that for the youngest generation, Gen Z and younger, some of the things that I see that's quite common is parents that don't seem to have matured themselves, parents who are still finding themselves, parents who are on social media trying to compete with their own children as well, you know. So then there's no one to be there to provide guidance. There's no one there to be the voice of reason. The person who is supposed to be the bigger man and show you the way to go and understanding as a child and doing a child thing is engaging you word for word, you know, and showing the same bad behavior that a child exhibits. So I feel that on that level, there's so much that needs to be done. But then when you look at it, who also parented these parents? And the second one will be social media. I know a lot of people don't want to, you know, we have gotten so much. There's been a lot of good that's come out of social media, but there's also been a lot of bad because we are exposing our children much earlier than they need to be. We're exposing them to content that they have no business getting involved in. And we're doing that because all around us, everyone is doing it. And when you do not do it this way, you're seen as not exposed enough, not intelligent enough, you're not doing things the way the world is going. We're so caught up in making sure we're doing it the way the world is going that we're forgetting the important values. BC talked about how we treat people who are earning less than we are. I always say that when I was growing up, right, I grew up materially with less, but I never felt less. I didn't feel less than anyone. In school, we had people who would come to my school, the school that I went, that when the mother comes in a blue outfit, she's driving a blue car. She comes in a red outfit. I went to school with people who had orderlies that would come carry their bags, take them into class. But I never felt different because my teachers did not treat us any different. They treated us based on what we provided, what we did in class. And so even if I had to take 3 taxis before I got to school, my marks was what differentiated me from the other person. So it showed if I was a good student or a bad student. After the gates, no one knew anything, no one cared. It was not important. And we need to teach our children.
Let me pause you for a second. I've been holding for a minute. The Michael's been holding from Ogba, and I'll come back to you. Good morning, Michael. Are you there?
Good morning, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I love your topic this morning.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
See, I think the problem I see in our society is about closing the gap between the poor and the rich. You see, our society has not helped the youth. There are youths, you are quite correct, all right. There are youths who are living around that do not want to use their life meaningfully. But there are some others that we also see. They have gone to school, they have acquired skill, but from their background, they are poor, they have nothing. How can our government help them? Getting loans. Can I apply for loan? Can I go anywhere, get money? Considering the fact that in places like Lagos, cost of housing where I can lay my head, cost of shop where you can get an office, put all these things together. Sometimes a word come up from the president and say Nigerian youths are lazy. I don't buy that idea because there are youths in the streets who have something that they can give to the society, who can bring out their effort, who have something, they have acquired skill, but they have been so suppressed because of the economy and the place where they found themselves. There are no little startups where they can come out and they show what they have. Because of that, they have been kept in poor background. I think our government should work in this area. Right. And I think Nigerian youth will come out.
Thank you very much, Michael. Let me come back to you.
Okay, so I was going somewhere with it. So I said, so because of the way, our teachers treated us, we knew that what was important was our own hard work, what we earned by ourselves. It did not matter who our parents were or what they were. And I feel that children have no business knowing the economic situation of their friend and able to discuss it. We need to also be careful the kind of conversations we have in front of our children. Now, we were raised that way, thankfully. But why are we raising our own children differently? And the reason why I have gone this way is because I want to point out that poverty has always existed, strife has always been there, governments have always messed up. And yet there were a group of people who understood that there were important values. People did not blame society when someone committed a crime. People did not shout at government when it was an armed robber, or someone who has stolen, or someone who is doing rituals, you blame the person.
Right.
And sometimes, as far as blaming the family, this person has no proper upbringing.
Right.
And so unless we decide to face our families and face our parenting and face our children, we'll just be blaming society for blame's sake. It would not work. That is where the problem is, and that's where the solution is. Family.
Right. Talk about your thoughts on this.
So when you asked about hopelessness, for me it is the reality of majority of Nigerians. The feeling of hopelessness permeating everywhere. Like there's a desperation, you know. There's this despair, like nothing is working, and it is that hopelessness and desperation that would make you see a 9-year-old child wanting to say he wants to kill somebody to make money. That's desperation. That's hopelessness. There's no other way. I can see people, me too, I want to make money. 14-year-olds enrolling into Yahoo Plus and Yahoo Yahoo, like they have a training school. And there was a video online of young, barely teenagers trying to get into that space because that's their only ray of hope. It is the search for hope that is causing them to explore all those things. And I just quickly Googled what are the things that could cause hopelessness, and it is feeling powerless. The average Nigerian feels powerless. Only wealthy people in Nigeria are powerful. Only those that have money can control things. If you are poor, you don't get justice. A 21-year-old boy, because he accused sitting senator of something to do with his body or human trafficking, he was heard. Would he have been heard in Nigeria? Because he's a nobody. So when people feel hopeless, powerless, uninspired, like I don't matter, they will do anything to get important, to feel like they matter. And that is that desperation and hopelessness leading to what we're seeing as a chaotic society, going to drugs, trying to numb their feeling, and in some cases going to killing people to get that edge. And so we need to get back to that space of how do we start inspiring people to feel hopeful about their journey and their life.
Let me take this call from William. William, good morning. Are you there? You're live.
Yeah, I'm alive.
Thank you.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Very well.
I think I want to say it's a society pressure. I think the society is not contributing enough. You see, this pressure in the society. I love your program. I love what you're doing, what you're contributing to the society. I think we need to do enough. So we need to give out.
We need the volume increase,
Hello,
please. Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Yes. I think the society has to, because the pressure that is really given out to the society, more especially this tech age, it's really costing a lot of things that, we need to make sure to go with the already young ones that are coming up, because your program like this, our source program, will really expose kind of a boost up to make sure that most of these, could I call it, you want to get to the top, where you're not prepared, where you're not building yourself to get to that top. I think the society needs to really do enough. I think we need to make sure that your community come from your church.
Right.
You need to really do enough to make sure that this pressure is not reaching because competition here and there.
All right, we can. I'm sure our viewers at home can hear you, but maybe the guys in the studio can help us increase the volume in the studio if they can stop talking.
Yeah.
But I was going to bring an angle of local government, because government really needs to come down to the grassroots. I feel that we all keep saying government, forgetting that one of the most important governments to us is the one closest to the people. We would really like us to interrogate the role of LCDAs, government chairmen, the community leaders, because they're the ones that can empower young people. I know many will say they do that. They have those, they do Marua, they do empowerment program, they give you all these blenders, they do makeup. Those are great things. But I think we need to get more of our local government, local government, to have better data of young people living in your community. Where are they? How do you group them? What are the resources within your various local government that you can begin to harness to empower people, to give them jobs? Is it pure water you want us? Can it be a chauffeur pure water, for example? This is an ecosystem I want to build concerning plastic. So every plastic in Lagos, bring it to Koshofe. We're going to have a manufacturing plant here that we're going to be converting. You know, there's got to be we need to get more creative. Where we're actually engaged in solving problems. We have issues of environmental. Can there be a local government within a state, any state can say, you know, this is going to be our project. We're going to be the one planting flowers across the state. We're going to be the one planting any flower you see in Lagos. So it came from Ikeja local governments because they are the ones planting. You know, somebody's got to think outside the box. Don't just find this regular, buy my blending machine, buy Kekenapep here, and do this, and that's it. And we flood all the streets with Kekenapep, forgetting that the fumes are also harming us as a people. So is anybody thinking outside the box where we begin to engage Nigerian youth such that give them that hope that we talked about earlier? As long as I was born here, there's something we can do in this area that I can invest in.
Okay, so that is all good. All hands need to be on deck to solve this problem. So while the government is attacking with regulations and policies, fishing out the drug barons, that's, you know, taking them out, clearing the space so that it's not very easy to have drugs available to these young people, right? The local government is there trying to give them something to do. But I've realized that sometimes it's not for a lack of job that makes some of these people want to do Yahoo, or get into cultism, or get into killing of somebody for the Yahoo Plus. Sometimes is because there is, one, greed. They want to, in 14 years or 20-something years, they want to spend money that an Otedola, for instance, is spending because they see him in his Lamborghini, for instance, on social media, and they feel that is exactly what I want. Forgetting that he, for instance, went through a process to get there. So it's not so much of, if I go around the streets and I say I want to empower people and give them jobs, you will see young people who will look at the job, how much is it? And they will turn their back on you. So it's not so much of the job. It's, number one, I love the fact that Miriam spotted the family. There was something I was reading recently, and it says, a well-structured family creates civil society.
Yep.
To have a well-structured family, you will now have individuals from those families, your family, my family, and every family. We meet as a society, and we are civil, we are structured, we are well organized, we understand morals, we know what to do at the right time and the right time to do it because we come from a well-structured family. Now, why we see the Western world going haywire, the way they are going in 27 different directions, is because there's an attack on the family structure. And that is where Nigeria is getting to now. There's an attack, it's a systemic, it's building on the family structure. Our young people are now saying, is there any need to even get married? Let me just get pregnant and have this child. I can take care of my own. I can be by myself. I have money now. I'm empowered. I can raise this child by myself. We are gradually going away from the traditional family systems that we had that was a covering for us to be a civil society. It's gradually moving, but let's pay attention. Because for us to fix the problem of Nigeria, it must start from the home. What sort of conversations do you have with your children? What sort of values do you build? Do you instill? Do they understand that there must be work before payment is done?
I get that.
No, hold on. That's why we are doing our own as a family.
I saw you.
The government is doing their own at the policy level. Then the mindset of the citizens.
Well, let me take that for a second, because you're right. What's the family doing? But a child will tell you, I saw my father work for 30 years. He wasn't paid. He sent me to school. He sent me to school, and everything I have, we used to educate my sister, and today, you know,
no pension.
No pension. Yeah. So the system works. So even if you work so hard and you do the right thing, people still feel like the system is working against them somewhat. Yeah. So sometimes I create jobs. Yes, the family, so it's because of that situation that my mother had to go into prostitution, or my father had to steal that money. Something led to that greed that we have in the family. Yeah. So even though I have values, which I really do, sometimes the values are tested by things of life. You now start making choices that, should I still steal this one-off money? Because those are the choices people are being faced with. So I remember the time I was telling you about that that I went for a speaking engagement where the professor was speaking. He was proud of his 2 houses and 2 cars, that he's built 2 houses and he has 2 cars. And he was speaking with such confidence. And when it was my turn to speak, I asked one of the young people in the audience, I said, are you impressed with what he just said? I know.
Wow.
What would you rather do? They want to have the yachts. They want to have the mansions. They want to have a house abroad. This man was talking about he had a house in Lagos and Port Harcourt. So what is motivating us today is different.
You know, when you said, when you spoke about local government, I think, of course, there's a part of the government. And based on what
there's also a part of family.
Mariam and BC said, it's an ideological challenge that we're facing. We don't have a value system. We don't have a national value orientation. Yes. This is who we are as a country. This is how we think. So it's not, the change cannot happen based on government providing work, infrastructure, all of that. That would help. It will help those that are really pushed to the wall from tipping over. But some people naturally are they're hungry for anyhow to go about it. Yeah. For those people, it is the ideology that is on ground that will save them. Yeah. So the change happened gradually. Like Mariam, when I was in school, everybody we are treated the same. Somebody will look at you and say, even if your father is Dangote or your father is whoever, you will still sit down here and do your homework or all of that. Now, in schools, they will say yes, but because you don't want the parents to come and shout at you. So we have moved into a place where we worship. We are worshipping the wrong thing. So the ideology has changed, and we're seeing the reaction in people. So we have to go back to where we are. We value what we value as a nation. Yes. Who will tell us what we value? Who will tell us what we value? Because who will bring that change that we need? It will be government. And I feel sad that I have to say government. It can't be family anymore because the family, society is shaped by the environment, and the environment has already gone bad. So we now need one hero. A group of heroes that will tell us, see, we are not, as a nation, we will not continue like this anymore. Nigeria must stand for integrity. We must start defending each other. That person will now create a new vision for the new set of Nigerians and conform us to do it. So because there will be consequences, families will now say, we cannot do as we're doing anymore. Yes, the government has said this is the way. Let us start doing like this. Then we start changing things again.
Absolutely. Let me take this call from Adeyemi, calling from Lekki, and I'll come to you, Mariam. Hello, Adeyemi, are you there? You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, Mariah, you see, any nation that has its citizen think about money first, that country will be in serious trouble. Now, as a nation, even ourselves, see, Mariah, you are doing something that life is a process. You went through your process. Everyone on that table went through their process. I went through my process. But unfortunately, we have a youth in our nation today that they want to wake up and start using drugs. They want to wake up and start having millions in account. Is that the way you and I grow up? We are saying government. Even we as Nigerians, we need to have what I call inner change. Our character, our attitude is so bad. Have you seen the way some of them behave on the road? And yet, we are looking for a better nation. We have to create the nation we want. People from Canada, US, they're not going to come here to create the nation for us. If you want a country like Canada, we must create it. We should stop blaming government. I know government have their own bad side, but we must learn and make effort to change things ourselves. May God help us in Jesus' name.
Yeah, so let me see if I can, the part of government. And the truth is, government has a role to play, but government does not fall from heaven. Government is made up of family members. And the sort of things that they were doing in families, they will carry out to government. So we talk about nepotism. I've worked so hard. I know I deserve it. We get to the larger platform, and government is giving someone that they know, a child of someone that they know. And so that can cause, a disillusionment of the system, of working hard. Why would I do all this when I know in the end I would be stopped? But the person that does that in government, or the government that does that already at home, has shown signs of a favorite, of, it does not matter who does well, it's who I prefer. And so that person would go on to government and do the same. So what caliber of people are we voting into government? What are the sort of people we are supporting as politicians? What are their values? and they can only be themselves. And if we know them, so where you're saying the local government comes in is, if these people are part of our locality, we know them, and they come out to stand, we can point out and say, you that you're constantly stealing chicken from this person's house, or jumping, we know you, and we're not going to push you. But we don't do that. Even for many of us, we see people doing wrong, but because they are popular, or they have the loudest voice, or they have some change, we don't call them to order. We allow them misbehave. So in the end, even when we blame government, we are blaming ourselves, because we are exactly who our government officials are. They are doing exactly what we have empowered them and supported them to do. If we pay attention, if we are honest with ourselves, we know exactly where the work needs to be done. And it's at home, and with our teachers in schools for our children, and with each other. And we'll see it in government and in society at large.
I didn't want to mention the name of this institution, but I think I should, because it is a Nigerian institution. And when you're talking about vision, so we need some hero, some visionary to create a new world for us where everybody begins to align. I did a course in Pan Atlantic University. When you enter PAU, it's like you're in a different world. You have to repeat yourself that, am I still in Nigeria? And it's because of the vision. Where you come inside, they tell you the culture. We don't wear this kind of clothes. You can't come with this kind of this. You can't, everything you are reminded. The security guard at the front reminds you. The woman, the caterer, the server at the cafeteria is reminding you. Every corner, you cannot leave any single drop of anything after you finish your food. They will remind you to come and pack your plates and put in the bin. Like, it is reinforced. So when you enter there, you remember, oh my God, everywhere is clean. Yeah. And when they are marking your examination, they don't want to know if you're Longi or Tokpameka. It is your number they grade.
Simple. Yeah.
You're simple. Your number, you're graded by your number. You get your results based on your number. Nobody wants to know who your name is.
And it's happening in this Nigeria.
In this Nigeria. So the point is that a system can work if we get the right leadership. And leadership for me is not when you get the president right. That's why I keep saying it comes down. Yes. Because we have to put it in layers. The president can drive a vision, but if the guys at the bottom don't drive that vision, there's nothing you can do. So all the way to the LCDA, the chairman, even to the school teacher, everybody must align with that vision.
Yeah. So that's one. We need that vision, right? And when we get the right people into office, Abby, do we know the right people? That's where the biggest headache is. Can we recognize the right people even if they are in? Exactly. Because you see an array of people presented, and then all the sentiments, all the bias. Oh, this person is from my place, this person is from my town, this person is my cousin's, auntie's, uncle's sister, this person is affiliated to me somewhere, we share the same religion. Then we are blinded to the things we are supposed to be looking at. And tomorrow we come back and we still complain again. We need the right people in office. We need the right people. The right people were presented. Are you a right person? The right people were presented to you. You did not even recognize them. So what are the metrics of the right people? We need to highlight it. What do we want to see? In the track record, what are we looking at? Do you have any taints to your name? Can people speak up for you to say, okay, this person served here, he did not have this issue? Can they bring your records and it is transparent, it is clean enough? Can we give that person a chance, irrespective of whether the person is minority or not? Or we will still pick the person we feel or the person that satisfies our palate at that time. And the next day we say we need the right people. We need to decide. See, whether you are poor or not, every day you are tempted to be who you are not. It is your job as a human being, once you pass 18, to make the right choice. Whether your parents died of malaria, they could not treat them, or they served and they were not paid pension, it is your job as an adult to make the right choice when it's presented to you on a daily basis. And everybody, the scripture says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Everybody will answer to what they have done. Nobody will say, it is because of the government that made me do this, or it's because they did not train me. That's why I did this. If they did not train you, train yourself. So let us begin to work on individuals, ourselves, and from the family unit, hopefully, we can make...
All right, so back comments on social media. Go ahead, please.
Media. Somebody said in Europe, people are obsessed with being rich. They just want to make ends meet and live their normal life. People,
And
in
not-
Europe, people are not obsessed with being rich.
Okay.
They just want to be able to make ends meet and live their normal life. Why must someone that has nothing to offer want to live like a billionaire? Another person says, if you don't have money in Nigeria, nobody will rate you. And then he
But
mentions
these are
education.
effects of deeper issues.
So
That's
let's
what I'm saying that
So
we
Lamidi
see-
Abiodun, I guess, has his opinion is we are only dealing with the ripple effects of lack of family values and morals in
Yeah.
our children. Family makes up the society. Gone are those days when children were proud of their family values like honesty, love, tolerance that builds character of leaders in government. And that's the truth. I have heard people who maybe their parents used to be in government like a long time ago. And when people say, oh, I knew your father was a man of integrity, they're like, integrity. We're still renting house.
He did not build any
His
house.
colleagues that did not have integrity, we know where they are today. So those are kind of...
Yeah, I had that too.
Yeah, and the fact that, you know, the government at the time would embezzle money and flaunt it in the faces of the poor people. That was also what changed the family values. So children just woke up, we cannot be doing this now. We can't. I saw my father die because probably we're not able to get his pension. He was not able to feed after how many years he has put in office. And then this person has pension for life, just for 4 years or 8 years. So at the time since we're going to be working on the family system, the government also must reposition itself. Enough of embezzling money meant for the good of other people. We hold you accountable. If that resources has been given for something, please make sure that you do it so that your people have a sense of dignity, even if it is small. Biko.
So, Umola Emmanuel says, the politics of Nigeria is all about development and strengthening of the country and its citizenry. Most politicians are all about funds, embezzlement to refinance election and oppress the next man. Yeah. You made a very valid point with the local government area, Murayo, and I think that you've been pushing it, and I would be excited if this comment is able to inspire one of our 774 local government chairmen to decide to transform their own territory, because you have a territory and you can make huge change. Nigeria is not a country without resources. Some people have cashew, some have coconut. Whatever it is you have within your area, find a way to take ownership and maximize it, to provide solutions. So people migrating to your location, excited about the leadership you provide. Enough of giving excuses that this is this other person.
Yes, we have to run, unfortunately. But I remember that when my father passed on, and people were saying, oh, your daddy was such a fantastic guy. He didn't collect money after he did. He took oranges for me. Looking at them, oh, he only took this form for me. He did not collect money. And I'm thinking,
You should have collected.
Kenneth Cool says improper training from parents themselves, moral decadence, unnecessary peer pressure, and desperation for getting rich quick. You know they see your mate is the reason for all of this madness. Yeah. Stakeholders should do something media inclusive. Yeah.
But to complete that story, I still use his name today.
Yes.
So the name carries weight. So let us not discredit or discount it. It's better than silver and gold. So the name still helps me and opens doors for me today. So regardless of how we feel, we must always go back to ensuring that we emulate the values our parents taught us. That is all we can take on today's show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.